Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a new review on a new inflatable. This inflatable is going to be on this new for 2023 Sam's Club Haunted House inflatable. Now this one is basically a redesign of the one that came out last year. Now last year's one was basically like purple and orange, and it was a bit goofy colored. This one is basically a redesign of that, but obviously if you can tell by the design it looks much more scarier. And it's being sold for the same price. Now unfortunately with this one, it's not going to be sold in stores, which is very sad. But I did manage to get this one, so I can make a review of it. So this is not actually my first 2023 inflatable for Halloween. I have another inflatable that I got before this that was the at-home 12-foot cat. But I'll probably make a review of that a separate day. But yeah. So here is this new haunted house. Now what's cool about this haunted house is that it actually has blinking C7s. I'll show you what I mean. So, I don't know if you can really see it or not. I'll have to go up to the skull. But as you can see, the lights blink. So it has a bunch of blinking LED C7s. And yes, I said LED because basically all the C7s that are being put in Gemmy inflatables now are LED versions. They're basically the same thing as the regular C7s though, so they're still replaceable and all that. So yeah, it's basically the same exact size as last year's one. This is just a redesign. And this redesign is much scarier. It doesn't really have kid-friendly characters on it. It's got more spooky, goofy characters. The skulls are probably the most kid-friendly character on this, but the rest of them, They fit the tone of Halloween a little bit better than last year's one, for sure. So, here's the front of it. It's got blinking lights everywhere. I don't know exactly where all the blinking C7s are, but it's got quite a lot of them. It's got this purple spider here, and then this is the front of it. It has a C7 under the beware sign. Now, I think the beware sign isn't supposed to blink. On mine, it doesn't blink. But as you can see, they didn't stitch it on the lower parts of it, so the beware sign's kind of going up in the wind. But yeah, there's the front of it once again. Now they added a bat this year instead of a spider on the side of it like they did last year. This bat does not have any C7s on it, in it, but it has the glowing eyes, so you can actually see it, unlike the spider from last year. And it has metallic on the front of it, but not the back of it. You can see it doesn't have it on the back of it. But yeah, it's got metallic, which is pretty cool. The ghosts are up there. Basically the same thing as last year's, except... yeah, no, basically the same thing as last year's, just different faces. And then there's the tower. The tower's a bit different. It's got different... doesn't have the skeletons, but instead it has these skull heads on it. And they added more micro lights on this, I forgot to mention that. So instead of the just the archway part itself, they added a set in the top portion here, and then they added a section on the tower there. They can't really see all that well, but they're there. So yeah, so here's the inside of it. It's basically just like last year's one, but it's recolored, and it's of course still has this projection light in it. They put it on this side this year instead of on the other side last year. It was right here on last year, but this year they put it on a separate side. One thing I really like about this inflatable is that this inflatable inflates a little bit better than last year's one. Last year's one doesn't inflate the greatest, but this one inflates quite a bit better. I think it was because of the way they just designed this one. It just worked out better for this one, so I'll give a huge thanks to that one. And there's the ghosts on top. It's basically the same as last year, where they're just separate from their arms. It's pretty silly to look at it from this angle, but yeah. So here's the back of it. Just like last year's, it doesn't have anything on the back of it. It doesn't really have anything extra on the back of it either. So it's basically just the same as last year's with the back. Of course, also on the side, there's no detailing on this side either. They're still cheaping out with that. Still disappointed with that, but whatever. That's like one little flaw that I can't really do much about. So yeah, other than it not having detailing on the back, still pretty good though, because you can't really like necessarily see it when you're looking at it the way it's intended. But yeah, still cheaping out in the back, which is still unfortunate, but yeah, it's whatever at this point. Modern Gemmy. So here's another view of the haunted house. This is from the other side of it. You can see that they're still cheaping out with this, with the sides, just like last year's one. It's basically just a redesign of last year's one, but this one is a much better redesign. Now, from what I've heard, I believe this thing was supposed to come out with a sound box for this particular haunted house, but for whatever reason, the Sam's Club store buyer removed it. If that actually is the case, then shame on you, Sam's Club store buyer, for removing the sound box. It would have probably made your inflatable sell a lot better than it already is, but yeah. So other than the back not having detailing, and other than the fact that it obviously needs a sound box, this one is much, much better than last year's one for sure. So I'm going to go where I was earlier so you guys can see it again. So yeah, I really like this inflatable. It's definitely an improvement over last year's one. I have last year's one, so I know, but I never uploaded last year's one. But you will see that haunted house in my Halloween display this year. I'm obviously going to be using this guy too. So yeah, if you want to buy it, I do recommend it if you want it. It's going to be $264 total if you're going to order it from Sam's Club's website. Again, I'm pretty sure this isn't being sold in stores, so this is online only. So that's basically it for this haunted house, and I hope you guys enjoyed my review. Pretty solid inflatable for 2023. It's pretty good, better than last year's haunted house. Definitely an improvement. So that's basically it for this haunted house. Thanks for watching, and bye. It also has a whole bunch of zippers all over it. It has like, it has one in the top part. It has one by the fan. I believe it has one by the spider, and then it has two in the lower parts of the base back there, where the windows are. It's got two zippers down there. So I think this thing has 5 zippers. But yeah, it's basically it for this haunted house. I hope you guys enjoyed my review, and thanks for watching, and bye.